Good evening, Phoebe.
Good evening, Mrs. Rogers.
Is that the boat already?
Yes.
Have you remembered everything?
I think so. Lemons, subsos, cream, eggs, tomatoes, and butter. That's all. Wasn't it?
That's everything. So much to do, I don't know where to start. No maids till the morning, and all these guests arriving today.
Oh, calm down, Ethel. Everything's ship-shape now. Looks nice, don't it, Phoebe?
Looks neat enough for me. Kind of bare, but rich folks like places bare. It seems.
Rich folks is queer.
And it was a queer sort of gentleman else built this place. Spent a wicked lot of money on it, he did. And then gets tired and puts the whole thing up for sale.
Beats me why the Owens wanted to buy it, living on an island.
Oh, come off it, Ethel. Hurry up to the kitchen. They'll be in here any minute now.
Making that steep climb an excuse for a drink, I suppose. Like some others I know. I shall want 5 loaves of bread in the morning and 8 pints of milk, remember?
Right.
Oh, don't forget the oil for the engine, Phoebe. I've got to charge up tomorrow, else have the lights running down.
Right. It was held up on railway. It's at the station now. I'll be to cross first thing tomorrow.
Thank you. Oh, and give her a hand with the luggage, will you?
Right.
I forgot to give you the list of guests, Tom.
No.
They're already here.
Yeah. Miss Claythorne.
Yes, you're Rogers?
And you must be the secretary.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You will get mine in Captain Lombard's luggage, please.
Absolutely, miss.
Thank you. You've been here before?
No, but I've heard a lot about the place.
For Mr. and Mrs. Owen?
No. Johnny Brewer, a pal of mine. He built this place. It's a sad and poignant story.
A love story.
Miss.
Yes, ma'am. The saddest of them all. You see, he was a wealthy old boy, and he fell in love with the famous Lily Lillian. Married her, bought the island, and built the place for her.
Sounds most romantic.
Poor Johnny. He thought that by cutting her off from the rest of the world without even a telephone as means of communication, he could hold her.
But of course, the fair Lily tired of her ivory tower and escaped.
Johnny went back to Wall Street, made a few more millions, and the place was sold.
Well, here we are. I ought to find Mrs. Owen.
I'd say it'd be rather rude to leave me here by myself.
Would it? Well, I wonder where she could be.
She'll be along when she's ready. In the meantime, do you think I could have a drink? Very dry.
Of course you could.
Yeah. Certainly warm after that steep climb. What's yours?
Oh, none for me, please. Not on duty.
A good secretary is never off duty.
Really? This is exciting.
What is?
All this, the gulls, the beach, the sea air. I think I'm going to enjoy myself.
I think you are. I think we both are. Here's to you. You're very lucky.
Oh. Oh, Mr. Rogers, where is Mrs. Owen?
Mrs. Owen? Oh, she won't be down from London till tomorrow, miss. I thought you knew.
Tomorrow, but
Oh.
I can't...
I have a list here of the guests expected, miss, if you'd like to have it. Second boatload is just arriving,
Thank you.
of course.
How awful. I say, you will be sweet and help me, won't you?
I will not move from your side.
You know, it seems silly to have brought only us in the first boat and all the rest in the second.
That, I'm afraid, was design, not accident.
Design? What do you mean?
Well, you see, I suggested to the boatman that there was no more need to wait for any more passengers. That and 5 shillings soon started up the engine.
You shouldn't have done that.
They're not a very exciting lot, are they?
I thought the young man was rather nice looking.
Caleb. Definitely Caleb. And very, very young.
I'm sure you think a man in his 30s is more attractive.
Oh, I don't think, my darling. I know.
Wizard place you got here?
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow. May I introduce
That's too bad.
Captain Lombard and
Marston, Anthony Marston.
Have a drink, sir.
Oh, thank you.
What do you have? Gin? Whiskey? Sherry?
Whiskey, I think. Wonderful place you have here.
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Say when.
Oh, wizard.
How do you do? My name's Lombard.
Davis. Davis is the name.
Miss Davis. Mr. Marston.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Marston.
Have a drink.
Yes, please. Don't mind if I do.
Bit of a stiff climb up here. But whew! What a view and what a height. Reminds me of South Africa, this place.
Does it? What part?
Oh, Natal, Durban, you know.
Really?
Well, here's to temperance. Do you, know South Africa?
Me? No.
That's where I come from. That's my natal state. Ha!
Interesting country, I should think.
Finest country in the world, sir. Diamonds, oranges, gold, anything a person could want. Talk about a land flowing with beer and skittles.
General Mackenzie, isn't it?
Yes, how do you do?
Well, thank you. I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
I see.
May I introduce Captain Lombard, Mr. Marston, and Ms. Davis.
Davis is the name.
How do you do?
Have a drink, sir.
Ah, yes, please. Say, are you in the service?
Formerly in the King's African Rifles. Too tame for me in peacetime. I chucked it.
Oh, that's a pity. Thank you.
Miss Brent, is it? Where is Mrs. Owen? Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and won't be down until tomorrow.
Indeed. Extraordinary. Did you miss the train?
I expect so. Won't you have something? May I introduce Captain Lombard, Mr. Marston, and General Mackenzie. I think you all met on the boat. And Ms. Davis. Davis is the name. May I take your case?
Do let me get you a drink. A dry martini, a glass of sherry, whiskey and soda.
I never touch alcohol.
Don't touch alcohol.
I suppose you know, young man, that you left us standing there on the wharf.
Well, I'm afraid that's my fault. You see,
It seems to me most extraordinary that Mrs. Owen should not be here to receive her guests.
Perhaps she's just the kind of person who can't help missing trains.
Not at
That's
all.
what I reckon she is.
Not at all. Mrs. Owen isn't the least like that.
Perhaps it was her husband's fault.
She hasn't got a husband. I should like to go to my room.
Yes, I'll take you there.
Yes, I'll take you over to Mrs. Rogers, and she'll show you the room, miss. This way.
Thank you.
Our host and hostess haven't arrived yet, sir. My name's Lombard.
Mine is Wargrave. How do you do?
How do you do, sir? Fancy a drink?
Yes, please. A whiskey.
Davis. Davis is the name. Wonderful place you have here. Quite unique.
As you say, quite unique.
A drink, sir?
I say, old Badger Buckley rolled up yet?
Who did you say?
Badger Buckley. He wrote me in for the show. When's he coming?
I don't think he's coming. No one with the name of Beckley on the list.
The dirty double-crosser. He's let me down. Oh well. It's a pretty wizard island. Rather a wizard girl, that secretary. She ought to liven things up a bit. I say, old man, let's dress for dinner, if there's time.
Let's go and explore.
How wizard?
Things are as bit as 6s and 7s with the Owens not turning up.
Tricky, what? I say, wizard place for a holiday, what?
Oh, are you not going to sit down?
Ah, well, you see, I would. It's just that you seem to be in my chair.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not realize you were one of the family.
Well, it's not that exactly. I've never been here before. But you see, I live at the Benton Club. I have for the past 10 years or so. And, well, my seat's just about there. But I can't quite get used to sitting anywhere else.
Well, I suppose it does become a bit of a habit.
It certainly does. Thank you. Well, it's a good chair. It's not quite as good as the club, but it's a good chair. You know, I was rather surprised when I got this invitation. I haven't had anything quite like it for, must have been 4 years now. It's quite nice, I thought.
Hello, sir. Might I take your keys, sir?
Of course. Can you tell me, is Lady Constance Comington expected here?
Constance Comington, sir. I don't reckon, unless she's coming out with Mrs. Owen.
Oh, well, thank you.
Might I take the coat, sir?
Ah, yes.
Allow me, sir.
Thank you. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes.
Dinner will be at 8 o'clock, sir. Would you like me to show you to your room, perchance?
Ah, yes, please.
This way, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh. Lovely. Oh. Here you are, ma'am. Look over Reggie's. Thanks. Oh, yes, like this. Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Madam.
It's far too much. Oh, dear, I'm so sorry. Davis. Davis is the name. Mine's Armstrong. Dr. Armstrong, I believe. Oh, yes. Thought so. I never forget a face. Don't tell me I forgot one of my patients. Oh, no, nothing like that. It's just that I saw you in court once giving expert evidence. Oh, really? Are you interested in the law? Well, I am from South Africa, so naturally, the legal businesses in this country are bound to interest a colonial. Oh, yes, of course. Would you like a drink? Oh, no, thank you. I never touch it. Do you mind if I do? Mine's empty. Oh, no, great. Thank you. I've been having a look around the island. It's a wonderful place, isn't it? Oh, it's wonderful. I thought as I was coming across the mainland what an absolute haven of peace this was. Too peaceful for some, I dare say. Wonderfully restful. Wonderful for the nerves. I'm a nerve specialist, you know. Yes, I know that. Did you come down by train? No! I motored down. Dropped in on a patient on the way. Great improvement. Wonderful response. Yes. Did you come from London? How long did it take you? I didn't hurry, naturally. I never hurry. Bad for the nerves. Some mannerless young fellow nearly drove me into the ditch near Amesbury. Shot past me about 80 miles an hour. Disgraceful bit of driving. I'd like to have had his number. Yes, and if only more people would take the numbers of these disgraceful road. Yes, now you simply must excuse me. I simply must have a word with Mr. Owen. But Mr. Owen isn't coming down until...
You rang, madam?
Yes, take my hat, please, won't you?
Of course.
What time is supper?
Dinner is at 8 o'clock, miss, in a quarter of an hour. Dressing will be optional.
You got a good place here.
Thank you, miss.
Have you been here long?
Oh, just under a week, miss.
So, I don't suppose you know much about this crowd that's coming, do you?
No, miss.
All those friends and family?
I really couldn't say, miss.
Oh. Oh, Rogers?
Yes, miss.
Do you think you could put some sandwiches and a bottle of beer in my room at night? I've got a monster of an appetite with this sea air.
I'll see what I can do, miss.
Rogers, I'll see you won't lose by it.
Oh, yes.
Where's my room?
Straight away this way.
Good, I can do with a wash and brush up straight away.
Of course, ma'am.
There you are, Tom. You ought to clear away these dirty glasses. You're always leaving the dirty work to me.
Yes, let me take that.
Here I am with a 4-course dinner on my hands and no one to help me. You might give me a hand with the dishing up. Who is that you were talking to, by the way?
Davis, a South African gentlewoman. No money and no class either.
I don't like her. I don't like any of them much. More like that bunch we had at the boarding house, I'd say.
Yeah, well, Davis gives out she's a millionaire. Or something. But you should have seen her hat. Cheap as they make them.
Well, as I said, it's not treating us right. No maids till the morning and all these guests today? What do they think we are?
Now, anyway, the money's good.
So it ought to be. Catch me going into service again unless the money was good.
Well, it is. So, what are you going to do about it?
I'll tell you this, Tom. I'm not staying anywhere I'm put upon. Cooking's my business. I'm a good cook.
First rate, Olga.
But housework's none of my business. The kitchen's my place. All these guests! I've half a mind to put my hat and coat on and march straight back to Plymouth.
Straight back to Plymouth. You can't do that, old girl.
Why can't I? Who says I can't? Why can't I, I'd like to know?
Because you're on an island, old girl. Had you forgotten that?
Yes. I don't know as I fancy being on an island either.
No, don't think I fancy being on an island either. Oh, miss going down to the pictures, or to the pub. Well, it's double wages on the account of the difficulties. And, well, there is plenty of beer in the house.
That's all you ever think about, beer.
Stop your nagging and get back to the kitchen or your dinner will be spoilt.
It'll be spoilt anyway, I expect. For I'm going to be late.
And go on.
Wasted on them anyway.
I know.
Thank goodness I didn't make a souffle. Dinner won't be but a minute, miss. Just a question of dishing up.
Is everything all right, Rogers? Can you manage between the two of you?
Yes, thank you, miss. The missus talks a lot, but she gets it done.
I see.
Yeah. Don't mind.
What a lovely evening.
Yes, the weather seems very settled.
How plainly one can hear the sea. A pleasant sound. Nothing like England at all. Hardly a breath of wind and deliciously warm.
I should have thought you might feel a little uncomfortable in that dress.
Huh? No?
It's rather tight, isn't it?
I don't think so.
You'll excuse me, my dear, but you're a young girl, and you've got your living to earn.
Yes?
A well-bred woman doesn't like her secretary to appear flashy. It looks, as though you were trying to attract the attention of the opposite gender.
And would you say I do attract them?
That's besides the point. A girl who deliberately sets out to get the attention of men won't be likely to keep her job for her.
Surely that depends on who she works for.
Really, Miss Claythorne?
Aren't you being a little unkind?
Young people nowadays behave in the most disgusting fashion.
Disgusting?
Yes. Low-backed evening dresses, lying half naked on beaches, all this so-called sunbathing. An excuse for immodest conduct, nothing more. Familiarity, Christian names, drinking cocktails. And look at the young men nowadays, decadent. Look at that young Marston. What good is he? And that Captain Lombard.
What do you object to in Captain Lombard? I should say he was a man who led a very varied and interesting life.
The man's an adventurer. This younger generation is no good at all.
You don't like young people. I see.
What do you mean?
I was simply commenting that you don't seem to like young people.
And is there any reason why I should? Pray?
Well, I suppose not. Just seems to me that you miss an awful lot.
You are very impertinent.
I'm sorry, but that's just what I think.
The world will never improve unless we stamp out immodesty.
Quite pathological.
What did you say?
Nothing.
All judges look like that. They have like that venomous way of dotting their heads in and out. Mr. Justice Wargrave is no exception.
I hadn't realized he was a judge.
Oh yes, he's probably been responsible for sending more innocent people to their deaths than anyone in England.
Oh!
Hello, you. Do you two know each other?
Oh,
Dr.
hello.
Armstrong, Miss Claythorne. Armstrong and I just decided that the old would...
Yes, I heard you, and I think he did too.
Oh, Sir Lawrence, there's something I want to ask you. Will you come up here?
Of course.
Oh, it's remarkably fine, thanks.
It's an absolutely wizard car. A supercharged sports bar latte Carlotta. You don't see too many of them on the road. I can get over 100 out of hers.
Did you come from London?
Yep, 208 miles, and I did it in a bit over 4 hours. Too many cars on the road, though, to keep it up. Touch 90 going over Salisbury Plain. Not too bad, eh?
I think you passed me on the road.
Oh, yes?
You nearly drove me into the ditch.
Did I? Sorry.
If I'd seen your number, I'd have reported you.
But you were footling along in the middle of the road.
Footling. Me footling. I know.
Oh, how about your drink? Good idea. Will you have one, Miss Claythorne?
Oh, no, thank you.
Good evening, Mrs. Owen.
Why, Mrs. Owen?
Well, because you make the most attractive wife for any wealthy businessman.
Do you always flirt so outrageously?
Always.
Oh, well, now we know.
Tell me, what's old Miss Brent talking to the judge about? She tried to buttonhole him upstairs.
I don't know. Funny. She seemed so definite that there wasn't a Mr. Owen.
You don't think that Mrs. Owen, that there isn't, that they aren't...
What, married, you mean?
It's a shame we don't know each other. Could have given you lips down.
Yes, I'm sure that would have been grand.
I'd like to show you what I can do across Salisbury Plain. Tell you what, maybe we could drive back together.
I don't know about that.
That seems so silly. I've got an empty car.
Yes, but she likes the way she's coming back.
Oh, well, isn't this sweet? Look, the 10 little soldier boys, and the rhyme to go with it.
What are you talking about? What soldier boys? What rhyme?
Here. 10 little soldier boys going out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. 9 little soldier boys sat up very late. One overslept himself, and then there were 8.
Ladies and gentlemen, silence, please. You are charged with these indictments, that you did respectively and at diverse times commit the following. Amelia Armstrong, that you did cause the death of Louisa Mary Cleese. Pearl Henrietta Bloor, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Lander. Emily Caroline Brent, that you were responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, that you killed Peter Ogilvy Hamilton. Philip Lombard, that you were guilty of the deaths of 21 men, members of an East African tribe. John Gordon Mackenzie, that you sent your wife's lover, Arthur Richmond, to his death. Anthony James Marston, that you were guilty of the murder of John and Lucy Combs. Thomas Rogers and Ethel Rogers, that you brought about the death of Jennifer Brady. Lawrence John Wargrave, that you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense?
Mrs. Rogers!
Doctor!
Oh, patient! Good.
Quite all right.
She'll be all right. She's fainting, that's all. She'll be around in a minute. Just somebody get some brandy. Rogers, get some brandy. Go, get some brandy. Go. So what's that speaking? It sounded...
What sort of practical joke was that?
Where on earth did that voice come from? Here we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, silence.
Turn it off! Turn it off! It's horrible! Oh, it's just a disgraceful and heartless Practical joke, I suppose.
So you think it is a joke, do you?
What else could it be?
Moment, I'm not prepared to give an opinion.
But who sent it on though? Set it going.
Let's inquire into that.
Did I fake, Doctor?
Yes, you did. It's just a nasty. Oh, good.
Is that voice an awful voice?
Give me the brand. Give me the brand. Judgment. It's all right, Mr. Rogers. Just the brand.
It's all right, Ethel. Calm down.
Just drink this, Mrs. Rogers. Drink that.
Thank you.
Just fine.
I'm all right now. Just gave me a turn.
What? Gave me a turn too. Wicked lies I like to know. I'd like to know. I'd like to know.
Who was it that put the record on the gramophone? Was that you, Rogers?
I was just obeying orders, sir. That's all.
Whose orders?
Mr. Owens.
Then we have to get this very clear. What exactly were Mr. Owen's orders?
I was to put a record on the gramophone in the study. I was to find it in the drawer and then I was to stop that one. I thought it was just a bit of music for you.
That's a very remarkable story.
Oh, it's the truth, sir. It's the truth. Honestly, it was. I didn't know what it was. Not for a moment I did. It had a name on it. I honestly just thought it was a bit of music.
Is there a title?
The title? Yes, sir. It's entitled Swan Song.
The whole thing is preposterous, ridiculous. So something must be done about it. This Owen fellow, whoever it is.
Well, that's just it. Who is he?
Go into that very carefully. I should suggest you get your wife to bed, Rogers, then come back in.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you a hand.
Thank you, ma'am.
Come.
No.
Just all. Are you sure she'll be all right, Doctor? Yes, quite all right, Miss Clayton. So, a nice cup of tea. Yes. There we go. Just fine.
I don't know about you, sir, but I feel like I need another drink.
Good idea.
I agree.
I'll get them.
I should like a glass of water. Please.
Yes, I'll get it for you. I'd like a little whiskey, too.
Whiskey for you, Sir Lawrence?
There's your water, miss.
Preposterous.
She'll be all right. I've just given her a sedative to take.
Now then, Doctor, you want to drink after all
Oh,
of
no,
this?
no, thank you. I never touch it.
Oh. You have this one, General?
Yes, please.
Mr. Rogers, the man servant, he'll be back soon. He's just getting his wife to bed. Oh, here he is now.
Now then, Rogers, you must get to the bottom of this. Tell us what you know about Mr. Owen.
Mr. Owen, well, he owns the place, sir.
Yes, I am aware of that fact. What I want you to tell me is what you yourself know about the man.
Well, I don't know very much, sir. See, I've never seen him.
What do you mean you've never seen him?
Well, right to just about a week ago, sir, my wife and I, we were engaged through registry, the Regina in Plymouth, sir.
That's a high-class firm. We can check on that.
You got the letter?
Yes, sir. Right.
Go on with your story.
My story. Well, We arrived here, like the letter says, on the 4th. Everything was in order, sir. Plenty of food in stock, just needed a bit of dusting and that.
What next?
Next set, well, nothing really. That is, we're ready to receive a party of 8, and everything was in order, sir. Very much in order. Well, we did receive that letter from them, sir. Yesterday morning, by the morning post, stated that they may be detained for a while, and if so, we was to do our best to entertain the guests and fix up dinner and the records, the gramophone, and instructions for it. I believe I got the letter here as well.
Thank you. This is headed Ritz Hotel and typewritten.
Coronation machine number 5. Quite new, no defects. And paper is ensign make, the most common make. We shan't get much out of this. We might try it for fingerprints, but it's been handled too much.
Quite a little detective.
Got some fancy Christian names, hasn't he? Ulick Norman Owen. Quite a mouthful.
Well, I am obliged to you, Mr. Marston. You have brought to my attention a rather curious and suggestive point. I think that the time has come for all of us to pool our information. We'd all do well to come forward with all the knowledge you have regarding our unknown host. We are all his guests. It would be profitable if each of us were to explain exactly how that came about.
There's something very peculiar about all this. I received a letter with a signature that was not very easy to read. It purported to be from a woman whom I had met at a certain summer resort 2 or 3 years ago. I took the name to be Argadin. I am quite certain I have never met or become friendly with anyone of the name of Owen.
Have you got that letter, Miss Brent?
Yes, I will fetch it for you.
Miss Claythorne.
I wanted a holiday post and applied to a secretarial agency, Miss Grenfell's in London. I was offered this post and accepted.
You were never interviewed by your prospective employer?
No, sir. Here's the letter.
Yeah. Soldier Island, Sticklehaven, Devon. I received your name from Miss Grenfell's agency. I understand she knows you personally. She'll be glad to pay you the salary you ask and shall expect you to take up your duties on August 8th. The train is at 12:30 from Paddington. You will be met at Oak Ridge Station. I enclose £5 for expenses. Yours truly, Una Nancy Owen. Mr. Marston?
Don't actually know the Owens. Got a wire from a pal of mine, Badger Beverley. Told me to roll up here, which surprised me a bit because I had the idea the old horse had gone to Norway. I haven't got the wire.
Thank you. Dr. Armstrong?
In the circumstances, I think that I may admit that my visit here was professional. Mr. Owen, he wrote me that he was worried about his wife's health, her nerves, to be precise. He wanted a report without her being alarmed. He therefore suggested that my visit be regarded as that of an ordinary guest.
You had no previous acquaintance with the family?
No.
But you had no hesitation in obeying their summons.
Well, a colleague of mine, he was mentioned, and a rather handsome fee was suggested. I was due for a holiday anyway.
I have the letter.
Thank you very much. Dear Miss Brent, I do hope you remember me. We were together at Belhaven Guest House in August some years ago, and we seem to have so much in common. I'm starting a guest house of my own on an island off the coast of Devon. think there's really an opening for a place where there's good, plain English cooking and a nice, old-fashioned type of person. None of this partying and gramophones half the night. Shall be very glad if you could see your way to spending your summer vacation on a soldier island as my guest, of course. I suggest August 8th, 12:40 from Paddington to Oakbridge. Yours sincerely, U.N. Yes, the signature is slightly ambiguous. General Mackenzie.
Oh, I got a letter from this Owen fellow some time ago. He mentioned some old friends of mine, so I thought I must have met him at the club sometime. He hoped I'd excuse an informal invitation. Haven't got the letter, I'm afraid.
And you, Captain Lombard.
Same sort of thing. Invitation mentioning mutual friends. I haven't kept the letter to either.
Well, just now we had a somewhat disturbing experience. A seemingly disembodied voice spoke to us all by name, uttering certain definite accusations against us. Now we will deal with those accusations presently. At the moment, I am interested in a minor point. Amongst the names received was that of a Pearl Henrietta Blore. As far as we know, there is no one here named Blore amongst us. The name of Davis, however, was not mentioned. What do you have to say about that, Miss Davis?
Cat's out of the bag, it seems. I suppose I should admit my name is not Davis.
You are Pearl Henrietta Blore?
That's right.
I will add something to that. Not only are you here under a false name, Miss Blore, but in addition, this evening I have noticed that you are a first-class liar. You claim to come from Natal, South Africa. I happen to know Natal and South Africa very well, and I'd be prepared to swear that you have never set foot there in your life.
You guys have got me wrong. I'm an ex-CID man.
Oh, copper. And a lady one at that.
I've got my credentials and I can prove it. I was put onto this job.
By whom?
Why, Mr. Owen. He sent me a letter. He sent a very nice money order for expenses, as well as a list of all of your names, and said I was to keep an eye on you all, and pose as an ordinary guest.
Did he give you a reason?
He said Mrs. Owen has got some valuable jewels. Mrs. Owen, my foot! I don't believe there's any such person.
Well, your conclusions are, I believe, justified. Ulick Norman Owen, Una Nancy Owen, each time, that is to say, U.N. Owen, or by some slight stretch of fancy, unknown.
Oh, well, it's fantastic. It's mad.
Oh yes, I have no doubt in my mind that we have been invited here by a madman. Probably a dangerous, homicidal lunatic. Whoever it is who enticed us here, that person has taken the trouble to learn a great deal about us. A very great deal. Out of their knowledge concerning us, they have made certain definite accusations.
It's all very well to make accusations.
Wish to say this? An unknown friend accuses me of the murder of one Edward Seton. I remember Seton perfectly well. He came before me for trial in June of 1930. Been accused of murdering an elderly woman. He was very ably defended, and he made a good impression on the jury in the witness box. Nevertheless, on the evidence, he was certainly guilty. Summed up accordingly, the jury brought in a verdict of guilty. In passing sentence of death, I fully concurred with this verdict. Now, an appeal was lodged on the grounds of misdirection, but it was dismissed, and he was duly executed. To say before you all that my conscience is perfectly clear on the matter. I did my duty. Nothing more. I passed sentence on a rightly convicted murderer.
Did you know Seton at all? I mean, personally?
I knew nothing of Seton previous to the trial.
The old boy's lying. I'll swear he's lying.
This old fellow's a madman, an absolute madman. He's got a bee in his bonnet. He's got a hold of the wrong end of the stick, all the way around. I would like to say there's no truth whatsoever in what he said about young Arthur Richmond. He was one of my officers. I sent him on reconnaissance in 1917. He was killed. That's war, not murder. I'd also like to say I very much resent that slur on my wife. She's the best woman in the world, until she died. Some time ago. She's the best woman, absolutely. Caesar's wife.
You know, I've just been thinking. John and Lucy Combs. They must have been a couple of kids I ran over near Cambridge. Beastly bad luck.
For them or for you?
Well, I was thinking for me. But of course, you're right, sir. It was bad luck for them too. Of course it was pure accident. They rushed out of some cottage or other. I got my license suspended for a year, basically no sense.
This speaking is all wrong. All wrong. You meant like you were a danger to this community.
Well, I couldn't help it. It was just an accident.
Not to say a word, sir.
Go ahead, Rogers.
Thank you. There was mention, sir, of me, my wife, and a Miss Jennifer Brady. There isn't a word of truth in it. We were with Miss Brady when she died. She was always in poor health, sir. Since the moment we came to her, there was a storm. The night that she died. The telephone was out of order, and I had to go for the doctor. On foot I did. But he got there too late. We done everything we could for her, sir. Devoted to her we were, and anyone would have told you the same. And there was never a word said against us. Never a word.
You came into a little something at her death, I suppose. Did you?
Well, Miss Brent left us a legacy in recognition of our faithful service. And I'd like to know, why not?
What about yourself, Flo?
What about me?
Your name is on the list.
I know. Landor, you mean? That was the London and Commercial Bank robbery.
I remember that case, although it didn't come before me. Landor was convicted on your evidence. You were the police officer in charge of the case.
I was, my lord.
So Landor got penal servitude and died in Dartmoor a year later. He was a delicate man.
He was a crook. It was him that put the night watchman out. The case was clear from the start.
You were complimented, I think, on your able handling of the case.
I got my promotion. I was only doing my duty.
Convenient word. Duty. What about you, Doctor?
I'm at a loss to understand the matter. The name meant nothing at all to me. What was it? Close, or something like that. I really don't remember having a patient of that name. It's been connected to a death in any way. The thing's a complete mystery to me. Of course, it was a long time ago. Might possibly be one of my operation cases in hospital. They come to, like so many of these people. Then when the patient dies, it's always considered the surgeon's fault.
And then? It's better to give up surgery and take up death cases. Some, of course, choose to give up drink.
I protest. You've no right to insinuate such things, no right. I never touched alcohol.
My dear lady, I never suggested you did. Besides, Mr. Unknown Emily is the only one who has all the facts.
Miss Laythorne.
I was nursery governess to Peter Hamilton. We were in Cornwall for the summer. One day, whilst my attention was distracted, he swam out too far. I tried to get to him, but I was too late.
Was there an inquest?
Yes, the coroner exonerated me. His mother didn't blame me either.
Well, thank you. Miss Brent.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing.
Nothing.
You reserve your defense.
There is no question of defense. I have always acted according to the dictates of my conscience.
What a law-abiding lot we seem to be. Myself accepted.
We are waiting for your story, Captain Lombard.
I haven't got a story.
Do you mean?
Terribly sorry to disappoint you all. It's perfectly true. I plead guilty. I did leave those men alone in the bush. Matter of self-preservation, you know.
Abandoned your men?
Not quite the act of a proper gentleman, I'm afraid. But after all, self-preservation is a man's first duty.
Then I suppose that our inquiry rests there. Now then, Rogers, who else is there on this island besides ourselves and you and your wife?
No, sir.
Sure of that?
Certain, sir.
Thank you. Don't go yet, Rogers. I am not quite certain as to the intentions of our unknown host in getting us to assemble here. I do not think they are sane in the accepted sense of the word. It would be dangerous. I think we would all do well to leave this place as soon as possible.
I agree.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah,
Of course.
leave tonight.
You pardon me, but there's no boat on the island.
No boat?
No, sir.
Well, why do you not telephone to the mainland?
There's no telephone either. Phoebe Narracott comes about around 8 o'clock, and once every morning brings the morning post, food, and such.
Plans have been in Spalteen wet. We ought to ferret out the mystery before we go. The whole thing's like a detective story. It's positively thrilling.
In my time in life, I have no desire to go hunting for thrills.
The legal life's narrowing. I'm all full crime. Here's to it. Stay awake. Give him some air. Oh dear me. Oh, great Scott. He's dead.
What?
How?
The fellow just choked and died.
You can call it choking if you like. He died of asphyxiation, right enough.
Never knew a fellow could die like that, just a choking fit.
In the middle of life, we are in death.
No, a man doesn't die of a mere choking fit, General Mackenzie. Marston's death isn't what we call a natural death.
Was there something in the whiskey, Doctor?
Yes, by the smell of it. Cyanide.
Cyanide.
Probably potassium cyanide. It acts pretty well instantaneously.
And he must have put the stuff in the glass himself.
Oh, dear.
Suicide, eh? That's a rum go.
One would think he would commit suicide. He was so alive. He was enjoying himself.
Oh, look. Here's one of the little soldiers on the shelf. Broken.
We've been up to the top. So, no sign of that boat yet.
It's very early still.
Yes.
Yes, I know. Still, the last brings the milk and the bread and the papers on and all that. Should have expected her to be here by now.
Sorry, I just wish the boat would come. It's annoying the way that. Oh my goodness, I hate this island. When do you think that boat will come?
I don't know.
Oh dear, It's absurd not keeping a boat on the island.
There's no proper harbour. If the wind were to come to blow from the southeast, a boat would get dashed to pieces up against the rocks.
But a boat would always be able to make it from the mainland.
No, Miss Brent, that's exactly what it wouldn't be able to do.
Do you mean we should be cut off from the land?
Yes, tin stuff, riveter, until the gale has blown itself out. But you needn't worry, the sea's only a little bit choppy.
I think the pleasures of living on an island are rather overrated.
Yeah. Oh. I wonder if that boat's coming. Annoying the way the house is built, slap up against the cliff. You can't see the mainland until you've climbed up to the top. Shall we go there again?
It's no good, Doctor. A watched pot never boils. There wasn't a sign of the boat putting out whenever we were up there just now.
Oh, what can this Narracot girl be doing?
They're all like that in Devon. They never hurry themselves.
And where's Rogers? He ought to be about.
Yes. Speaking of Rogers.
Of course, he was very, very badly rattled last night.
What's this? No sign of any breakfast. Where is dear?
Oh, don't let's bother about breakfast.
How is the weather looking?
I don't know. I don't know anything.
The wind has freshened a little bit. There's a bit of a mackerel sky. Old boy in the train yesterday actually said that we might be due for some dirty weather. I shouldn't wonder if he wasn't right.
Oh, why can't this boat come? Oh, good grief. Oh. It's driving me crazy, all this waiting.
I know.
Are you all right, General? General?
Not going to be allowed to leave this island.
General, are you all right?
Yes. Yes, I dreamed.
Oh,
Well, I don't wonder at that.
Dreamed of Leslie. My wife, you know.
Yes, I do wish Narracot would come.
Who is this Narracot person?
The lass who brought us over yesterday afternoon.
Was it only yesterday?
I know, I feel that same way. Batty gramophone records and suicides. It's about all a person can stand. I shan't be sorry to see the back of Soldier Island.
So you don't understand. How strange.
What's that, General?
I don't like the look of him.
I reckon young Marston's suicide must have been a great shock to him. Looks years older.
Where is that poor young fellow now?
In the study. I put him there myself.
Doctor, I suppose it was suicide? What else could it be?
I don't know, but suicide. You know, I did have a funny feeling in the night. Suppose this Mr. Owen, suppose he's on the island. Rogers may not know, or maybe Rogers does know, and Mr. Owen told him not to say so. It's a pretty nasty thought, isn't it?
But would it have been possible for anyone to tamper with Marston's drink without our seeing it?
Well, it was standing up there.
Yes.
Anyone could have slipped a dog of cyanide into it if they wanted to.
Oh, but that's fantastic for anyone to have to do that. It's not that easy.
Doctor, I've been looking for you all over. Can you come and have a look at my wife?
Oh, yes, of course. Is she feeling under the weather still?
She's just follow me.
Yes, of course. You won't leave the island without me. Oh.
I do wish that boat would come. I hate this place.
Yes, I think that the sooner we can get in touch with the police, the better.
The police?
Police have to be notified in the case of suicide, you know, Miss Claythorne.
Oh, yes. Of course. I say, still no sign of any breakfast. What is that fellow Rogers doing?
Feeling hungry, General? Feeling
breakfast?
Leslie, my dear.
No, I'm Vera Claythorne.
I'm sorry. I mistook you for my wife.
Oh!
I was looking for her, you see.
But I thought she had died long ago.
I thought so too, but I was wrong. She's here, somewhere on this island.
Oh!
Good morning.
Good morning, Captain Lombard.
Seem to have overslept myself. Boat here yet?
No.
Bit late, isn't it?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good
I could
morning.
have gone for a swim before breakfast. Too bad all this.
Too bad you overslept yourself, you mean.
You must have good nerves to sleep like that.
Nothing ever makes me lose my sleep.
Did you, by any chance, happen to dream of South African natives?
No. You didn't happen to dream of convicts on Dartmoor, did you?
Look here, Captain Lombard, I don't think that's very funny.
Well, you started it, you know. I'm hungry. What about breakfast?
Whole domestic staff appears to have gone on strike.
Oh, well, I guess we can all forge for ourselves.
Hello, that's strange.
What is?
You remember we found one of these little fellows smashed last night?
Yes, that ought to leave 9.
That ought to leave 9. There were only 8 here. I'm certain there were 10 of them here when we arrived.
Huh. Probably only 9 to begin with. We only assume that there are 10 because of the crime.
I suppose.
Hello, Armstrong. What's the matter?
Mrs. Rogers, she's dead.
No, how?
Died in her sleep. Rogers thought she was under the influence of the sleeping draught I gave her and went down without disturbing her. He lit the kitchen fire and did this room, and then when he saw that she hadn't appeared, he went up, was alarmed by the look of her, and went hunting for me. She's been dead about 5 hours, I should say.
What was it? Heart?
It's impossible to say. It may have been.
After all, she had a pretty bad fright last night.
Yes.
She might have been poisoned, I suppose, Doctor.
It is perfectly possible.
The same stuff as you on Marston?
No, not cyanide. It would have to have been some narcotic, hypnotic, one of the barbiturates of chloral, something like that.
You gave her some sleeping powders last night, didn't you?
Yes, I gave her a mild dose of luminol.
You didn't give her too much, did you?
Oh, certainly not. What do you mean?
No offense, no offense. It was just that perhaps if she'd had a weak heart...
The amount I gave her could not have hurt anyone.
Well, then what happened?
Impossible to say without an autopsy.
If, for instance, this death had occurred in the case of one of your private patients, what would have been your procedure?
Without any previous knowledge of the woman's state of health, I could certainly not give a certificate.
She was a very nervous-looking creature, and she had quite a fright last night. Was it heart failure?
Well, her heart certainly felt a beat. But what caused it to fail?
Conscience.
What?
What exactly do you mean by that, Miss Brent?
You all heard. She was accused, together with her husband, of having deliberately murdered her former employer, an old lady.
And you believe that's true?
Certainly. You all saw her last night. She broke down completely and fainted. The shock of having her wickedness brought home to her was too much for her to handle. She literally died of fear.
It is a possible theory. One cannot adopt it without more exact knowledge of the woman's state of health. If there is a latent
Call
cardiac
it,
weakness.
if you prefer, an act of God.
Oh,
No, Miss
Miss
Brent.
You regard it as impossible that a sinner should be struck down by the wrath of God? I do not.
My dear lady, in my experience of ill-doing, Providence leaves the work of conviction and chastisement to us mortals. And the process is often fraught with difficulties. There are no shortcuts.
Let's be practical.
What did the woman have to eat and drink before she went to bed?
Nothing.
Nothing whatsoever, not a cup of tea or a glass of water? I bet you she had a cup of tea. That sort always does.
Rogers assures me she had nothing, whatever.
He might say so.
So that's your idea, is it?
Well, you heard the accusation last night. What if it's true? Miss Brent thinks it is, for one. Suppose they did murder their former employer, and they got away with it, and they're feeling quite safe and happy about it.
Happy?
Well, they know there's no immediate danger to them. So, if it's all going to get raked up to the light again, who will give the show away? The old woman. Did you see her? She cracked, went to pieces. And did you see Rogers when she was coming to? Did you see him hanging around her? Not all husbandly solicitude. Not on your sweet life. It was like a cat on hot bricks. And that's the position. They've done a murder and gotten away with it. But now that it's all being brought to light, it's the old woman that will give the show away. Rogers, he can keep lying till the cows come home, but he can't be sure of her. So what does he do? He drops a nice little dollop of something into a nice cup of tea, and when she's had it, he washes the cup and saucer and tells the doctor she ain't had anything.
It's impossible. A man wouldn't do that. Not to an old wife, at least.
You'd be surprised, Miss Claythorne, what some husbands would do.
Where's breakfast? I'm starving. Oh,
Breakfast is clean there, miss. I'm getting along with it. Not too much of a hand as a cook, I'm afraid. Would cook, tell it to be satisfactory sometime. I could muster up some fried potatoes. There is also cheese and biscuits. Anything else?
That would be fine. I'll just thank you.
Lunch? We shouldn't be here for lunch. And when the dickens that boat coming?
Miss Blore!
What?
Boat won't be coming, miss.
What?
Boat's always here by 8 o'clock and it's past. Is that all you require, miss?
Yes, thank you. That will be all.
It's not Rogers. His wife lying dead upstairs, and here he is, calmly talking about lunch and cooking breakfast. Now he says the boat won't be coming. Now how the dickens does he know?
Miss Blore!
What?
oh, don't you see? He's dazed. He's just carrying on automatically as a good servant would. It's pathetic, really.
He's pulling a fast one, if you ask me.
I think the really significant thing is the failure of the boat to arrive. It means that we are being deliberately cut off from help.
That's very little time. Very little time.
What's that, General?
I said it's very, very little time. We should be sitting here wasting the time talking about things that don't matter.
Why do you think Naircroft hasn't turned up?
I think that the ubiquitous Mr. Owen has given orders.
You mean told her it's a practical joke or something of that sort?
But she'd never fall for that, would she?
Why not? Soldier Island's got a reputation for people having crazy parties. That's all it is. Just one more crazy idea. Naircroft knows there's plenty of food and drink in the island. Probably thinks it's all a huge joke.
Couldn't we do something? Light a bonfire so they'd see it?
That's probably been provided against. All signals ought to be ignored.
Well, we ought to do something at least.
Oh, yes we can. We can find that funny gentleman who staged that practical joke, Mr. Unknown Owen. I'll bet you anything that you like. and he's somewhere in this house. And the sooner that we get a hold of him, the better. Because in my opinion, he's as mad as a hatter and as dangerous as a rattlesnake.
That's hardly a good simile, Captain Lombard. A rattlesnake will at least give warning of its approach.
Warning? Good Scott, yes! There's our warning. 10 little soldier boys. There were 10 of us after Narcot weren't there. 10 little soldier boys going out to dine. One choked his little son. Marston choked, didn't he? And then 9 little soldier boys sat very late. One overslept himself. That part fits Mrs. Rogers rather well, wouldn't you say?
You don't mean to say, you don't think that he means to kill us all, do you?
Yes, I believe he does.
And each one fits with the rhyme.
No, it's impossible. It's coincidence. It must be coincidence.
Only 8 little soldier boys there. I suppose you think that's coincidence too. What do you think, Paul?
I don't like it. There's nobody on this island.
I'm not so sure of that.
Oh, this is terrible. Oh, here.
None of us are leaving this island alive.
Can't somebody shut up, Grandpa?
Don't you agree with me, Sir Lawrence?
Up to a point, yes.
Then the sooner we get started, the better. Come on, Armstrong. Come on, Law. We'll make short work of it.
Well, no one's got a revolver by any chance, do they? I suppose that's too much to hope for.
Oh, I've got one.
Always carry that around with you, do you?
Usually. I've been in a tight place once or twice.
Well, you've probably never been in a tighter place than you are today. There's a dangerous homicidal lunatic loose on the island. He'll probably have an entire arsenal on him and he'll use it.
Oh, you may be wrong there, Miss Law. Many homicidal maniacs are very quiet, unassuming people.
Oh, they're delightful fellows.
You never guessed there was anything wrong with them.
Well, if Mr. Owen turns out to be one of that kind, I'll leave him to you, Doctor.
Oh.
Now then, I propose that Dr. Armstrong and I search the island while Captain Lombard searches the house.
Right. Now start to be easy. No sliding panels or secret doors.
Mind he doesn't get you before you get him.
It would be all right. But you two had better stick together. Remember, one got left behind.
Let's get started. Come on, Armstrong. Okay.
See.
Move it, Grandpa. Oh, dear me.
Is a very energetic young fellow, Captain Lombard.
And don't you think he's right? If there's anyone on the island, they're bound to find him. It's practically just bare rock.
Well, I think that this problem needs brains to solve it, rather than brawn.
Wait, where are you going?
I am going out to sit in the sun and think, my dear young lady.
Where did I put that skein of wool?
Did you leave it upstairs? Shall I go and see if I can find it?
No, I'll go. I know where it's likely to be.
Well, I'm glad Captain Lombard has got a revolver. Makes one feel very safe.
They're all wasting time. Wasting time.
You think so?
Yes, it's much better to sit here quietly and wait.
Wait for what?
Well, for the end, of course. do wish I could find Leslie.
Your wife?
Yes, I wish you'd have known her. She was so pretty, so bright.
Was she?
Yes, I loved her very much. Of course, she was a lot younger than I was. She was only 27. Arthur Richmond was 26. They talked of music and plays together. They got on quite well. Leslie made great fun of him. I thought she'd taken a motherly interest in the boy.
I see.
He's a cursed fool. Well, I suppose there's no fool like an old fool. Still, I had believed in her very much, and I loved her very much. The way I found out, it was almost like a novel. We were both in France at the time, you see, and she sent us both letters at the time, and, well, one day she got the envelopes mixed up, so I knew.
Oh, no.
It's all right. It was such a long time ago. Still, as I say, I loved her very much. I believed in her, but I didn't say anything to the boy. Oh no, I let it fester, let it grow. In here, a murderous rage.
I wonder what the others are doing.
I sent him to his death.
Oh,
It was so very easy. Mistakes were being made all the time. It was war. All anyone could say was Mackenzie had lost his marbles and sacrificed a knight for a pawn. Still, I never told Leslie. She never found out. Things were never quite the same between us. She died in 1919 of pneumonia. She had a beautiful heart-shaped face, grey eyes, and curly hair.
don't.
Curious. Murder. Yes, I suppose it was murder. That's funny. I've never always considered myself such a law-abiding citizen, but it didn't feel quite like murder at the time. No, it served him bloody well right, I thought. But then after, well, you know, don't you?
I don't know what you mean.
Well, it's all coming to the end. I mean, we're all going to die here, you know.
I don't know.
You're young yet. You haven't gotten to that. That blessed relief when you know that it's all over. You don't have to deal with it anymore.
General!
Don't speak to me that way. You don't understand. I want to sit here quietly and wait for Leslie to come for me.
Oh, I'm frightened. Oh, I'm frightened.
All correct. No secret passage. One corpse.
Oh, don't!
I say, you do look low. How about a drink to steady your nerves?
A drink! 2 corpses in the house at 9 o'clock in the morning, and all you say, have a drink. An old man going quite crackers. That's all right, just have a drink. 10 people accused of murder. All you say, have a drink. Everything's fine so long as you have a drink.
All right. Stay thirsty.
You're nothing but a waster, an adventurer. You make me tired.
Say, you are het up. What's the matter, Marguerite?
I'm not your sweet.
Sorry, I rather thought you were.
Well, you can think again.
Come now, you know you don't actually feel like this. We've got something in common, you and I. Rogues and murderers can't fall.
Rogues and murderers!
You don't like the company Rogues and Murderers, and you won't have a drink. I'll go finish searching.
Unpleasant young man. I can't find it anywhere.
Is anything the matter? I am worried about the general. He really is ill, I think.
One moment. Are you looking out for the boat, General? His sin has found him out.
Oh, don't!
One must face facts.
Can any of us afford to throw stones?
Even if his wife was no better than she should be, and she must have been a depraved woman, he had no right to take judgment into his own hands.
What about Beatrice Taylor?
Who?
That was the name, wasn't it?
You are referring to that absurd accusation about myself?
Yes.
Now that we are alone, I have no objection to telling you the facts of the case. Indeed, I should like you to hear them. It was not a fit subject to discuss before gentlemen, so naturally I refused to say anything last night. That girl, Beatrice Taylor, was in my service. She had nice manners and was clean and willing. I was very pleased with her. But of course, that was all sheerest hypocrisy. She was a loose girl with no morals. Disgusting. It was some time before I found out that she was what they call in trouble. It was a great shock to me. Her parents were decent folks too, who had brought her up strictly. I'm glad to say they didn't condone her behavior.
So what happened?
Well, naturally, I refused to keep her an hour under my roof. No one shall ever say I condone immorality.
Did she drown herself?
Yes,
How old was she?
17.
Only 17.
Quite old enough to know how to behave. I told her what a low, depraved thing she was. I told her that she was beyond the pale, and no person would ever take her into their house. I told her that I felt soiled by ever having
You
her...
told a girl of 17 all that?
Yes, I'm glad to say I broke her down utterly.
Poor little thing.
I've no patience with this indulgence towards sin.
And then I suppose you turned her out?
Of course.
I suppose she didn't dare go home. What did you feel like when you found she drowned herself?
Feel like?
Yes, didn't you blame yourself?
Certainly not. I had nothing with which to reproach myself.
I think you actually believe that. It just makes it all the more horrible.
That girl's unbalanced. The heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made, and the net which they hid is their own foot taken. The Lord is known by the judgment he executed. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hand.
Breakfast is ready, miss.
Be quiet. The wicked shall be turned into hell.
Breakfast is ready. Breakfast is ready, miss. Do you know where the rest of the party may be?
Sir Lawrence Wargrave is sitting out in the sun. Miss Blore and Dr. Armstrong are searching the island, but I shouldn't bother about them.
Thank you, miss.
Shall not the isle shake at the sound of the fall, when the wounded cry, when the slaughter is made in the midst of thee?
Breakfast is ready, sir.
Shall we go in?
I don't feel like eating.
Okay.
Then all the princes of the sea shall come down from their thrones, and lay away their robes, and put off their broader garments. They shall clothe themselves with trembling. They shall sit upon the ground, and shall tremble at every moment, and be astonished at thee.
Reading aloud, Miss Brent?
It is my custom to read a portion of the Bible every day.
Very good habit, I'm sure.
What did you find?
Oh, there's no cover on the island at all. No caves. Nobody could hide anywhere at all.
Yes. How about the house, Lombard?
There's no one here. Stake my life that there's no one here. I've been over it from attic to cellar.
There's no cover. No one's on the island.
I can't. We didn't find it.
Breakfast is ready.
Breakfast! Come on, Law. You've been yelping for breakfast ever since you got up. Let's eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Or who knows, perhaps even today!
You ought to be ashamed of such a levity, Captain Lombard.
Come on, General, can't have this breakfast. Great thought. One got left behind.
What?
There's a knife. Through Kinsey's back.
Oh, goodness. Oh, he's dead. Oh, he's dead.
But how? There's no one on the island but us. Oh.
Exactly. My dear lady, did you realize that this clever and cunning criminal is always comfortably one step ahead of us? He always seems to know what we are going to do next and makes his plans accordingly. There is only one place, where a successful murderer could hide and have a reasonable chance of getting away with it.
One place? Where?
Here, in this room. Mr. Owen is one of us.
Sir Lawrence,
Well, Miss Bloor?
I wanted to get you alone.
Oh, okay, right.
You were right in what you said this morning. This murderer is one of us. And I think I know which one.
Really?
Have you ever heard of the Lizzie Borden case? In America, old couple killed with an axe in the middle of the morning. Only person who could have done it was the daughter, a respectable, middle-aged spinster. Incredible. So incredible, in fact, that they acquitted her. But they never found any other explanation.
Then your answer to the problem is Miss Emily Brent.
She's mad. Mad as a hatter, I tell you. Religious mad. We must keep an eye on her.
Really? I had formed the impression that your suspicions were in a different quarter.
Yes, they were. But I've changed my mind. And I'll tell you why. She's not scared, and she's the only one who's not scared. Because she knows there's no danger to her. She also... Hush.
Make some coffee. It's cold in here.
You never believe it whenever you thought of what a wonderful day it was this morning.
Are Armstrong and Rogers and Lombard still out? Miss Brent's?
Yes. They're out looking for the boat. Though I doubt any boat would put out in this.
You were right on insisting on going to lunch. I feel much better.
Oh yes, court always adjourns for lunch.
All the same, it feels like a nightmare. Surely there's something we can do.
Must hold an informal court of inquiry. May at least be able to eliminate some innocent people.
You haven't got a hunch of any kind, have you, Miss Claythorne?
Oh, if Miss Claythorne suspects one of us three, that is rather an awkward question.
Oh, I'm sure it isn't any of you. If you asked me who I suspected, I'd say Dr. Armstrong. She's had
Armstrong.
Yes, she's had far and away the best chance of poisoning Mrs. Rogers. I mean, she's a doctor. Yes, but someone else gave her brandy.
Her husband had a good opportunity of administering the drug.
It's not Rogers. He hasn't got the brains to fix all the stunt. Nor the money. Plus, you can see he's scared stiff.
It's only you.
Who did you think it was? Beatrice Taylor?
Come again.
Not hope of rescue until this dies down. Is that coffee? Splendid. I'm taking coffee now, you see.
Such restraint in the face of danger is nothing short of heroic.
Oh. Not, of course, profess to be a weather prophet. I do not think a boat could reach us, even if it knew of our plight, in under 24 hours. Even if the wind dies, the sea has still to go down.
Not awfully wet.
Is anyone a swimmer? Would it be possible to swim to the mainland?
It's over a mile, and in this weather you'd be dashed against the rocks and drowned.
Drowned in the pond.
Miss Brent?
Beg your pardon, Miss Brent?
Butter, it's cold in here.
Would you like me to serve fire for you, miss?
Yes, please. Thank you, Rogers.
Very sound scheme, Rogers.
Yeah. Fetch some wood.
Thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone know what became of the happened to the top bathroom curtain?
Really, Rogers, are you going bats too?
The bathroom curtain.
Scarlet oil silk. It's missing.
Has anybody seen a scarlet oil silk curtain?
No.
No good, I'm afraid, Rogers.
It doesn't matter anyway. Go off to get a few knobs of coal, some sticks.
Anything else that is odd. What's become of Armstrong?
Do you think he might want some hot coffee? He's awfully wet. Rogers!
Armstrong is up in her room resting.
That's probably better to one by.
I suspect she had the good sense to bolt her door.
Won't be so easy now that we're all on our guard.
Well, I advise you, Miss Bloor, not to be too confident. I should like shortly to propose certain measures of safety, which I believe we should all adopt.
Against whom?
Against each other. Of the 10 people that came to this island, 3 are definitely cleared. There are 7 of us left. 7 little soldier boys.
One of whom is a bogus little soldier boy.
Yes, exactly.
Well, does he want some coffee?
No, he said he'd rather make himself a nice cup of tea. Do you all think we ought to take Armstrong up a cup?
I can take it up if you like.
Yeah, I'll take it. I want to get changed.
I think
You should. You'll catch cold.
Armstrong might prefer to see me. She might not admit you, Captain Lombard. She might be afraid of your revolver.
Now, about that revolver, I want a word with you about that.
Do go and change.
What were you going to say?
I want the truth about the revolver.
Well, I've led a rather adventurous life, and I've gone into the habit of taking a gun along with me. I've been in a bit of a jam once or twice. It's a pleasant feeling, having a gun handy. Don't you agree?
We don't carry them. Now, listen here, I want the
What a
truth.
suspicious fellow you are, Law, lady.
still want the truth. If you're talking about the revolver, I'd like to hear what you've got to say.
Well, I received a letter inviting me here as the guest of Mr. and Mrs. Owen. It would be worth my while. The writer wrote that he had heard that I was a man in a good place, in a tight place. There might be some trouble, but I'd be all right as long as I kept my eyes open.
That's a likely story.
If it's true, why didn't you tell it to us in the first place?
That's my promise.
Captain, you're all wet. Go change.
Yes, please.
All right, I'm going. The maternal instinct, I think it's called.
Don't be ridiculous! If that story's true, why didn't you tell it to us in the first place?
Well, maybe he thought that this was maybe it was the emergency for which he'd been prepared. Maybe that's what he thought. I don't know.
Perhaps it is.
I hardly think so. It was just Mr. Owen's bit of cheese to get him into the trap with the rest of us. He must have known him well enough to rely on his curiosity.
If it's true, he's a wrong in that man.
Are you
Such a good judge of truth.
Oh, we must get out of here. We must get out of here before it is too late.
The thing we must not do is give away to nerves.
I'm sorry. Rather a case of physician heal thyself. But I've been overworked lately and run down.
Been sleeping badly?
Yes. I keep dreaming of hospitals and operations and a knife.
Those are real nightmares, then.
Yes. Do you ever dream that you're in court, sentencing a man to death?
You by any chance referring to a man by the name of Edward Seton? Well, I remember Seton perfectly well. I'm not going to lose any sleep over him. He's a particularly cold-blooded and brutal murderer. The jury liked him, though. They were inclined to let him off, I could tell. However, I cooked Seton's goose.
Brr, it is cold in here.
Wish Rogers would hurry up.
Where is Rogers?
He said he'd got to go get some sticks for the fire.
Sticks? Sticks?
Heavens to God! Sticks! Oh dear. Oh. Is one missing? Are there only 5?
Yes, no,
I mean 6.
Oh dear me, oh. There are only 5. 5? But, what?
Rogers and Lombard?
Oh no, not Philip. Oh,
Robert!
oh Philip,
You've seen Rogers?
No? Why should I have?
2 more soldiers have gone too.
2?
I thought one of them was you. Oh my goodness, maybe it's just this. It's fine. Surely there's some mistake.
In the scullery.
Is he? Yes, he's dead, all right.
How?
With an axe.
Someone must have come up behind him whilst he was bent over the wood box.
One chopped himself in half. And then there was 6.
There, stop it. Stop it.
All right. It's going to be just fine.
She'll be all right. All right, what's next? Bees? Do they keep bees on the island? Well, that's the next part of the run, isn't it? 5 little soldier boys playing with a hive, a bumblebee stung one, and then there were 5. Bumblebee stung one. They're all looking pretty spry. Unless you don't think...
Oh.
That's my hypodermic syringe.
Well, she was sitting there
Five little soldier boys sitting in a row, watching each other and waiting for the blow. New version, up to date.
I hardly think that this is a moment for facetiousness, Captain.
To relieve the gloom. Shame that electric plant's running down. How about we play a nice round game? Let's invent one called Suspicions. A suspects B, B suspects C, and so on. Let's start with Blore. It's not hard to guess who Blore suspects. It sticks out a mile. I'm your fancy anti-Blore.
I won't say no to that.
Quite wrong, you know. Abstract justice isn't my line. If I committed murder, there'd have to be something in it for me.
All I've got to say is, you've acted suspiciously from the start. You came here with a revolver, and now you say you've lost it.
I have lost it.
That's a likely story.
What do you think I've done with it? I suggested myself that you should search me.
Oh, you don't have it on you. You're too smart for that.
Do you mean I cast her ready for the next time?
Yes.
Why don't you use your brains, Blore? If I had wanted to, I could have shot the lot of you now. Bang, 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 bang.
But that's not the big idea.
The crazy touch. Look here, woman, I'm saying enough.
Oh, we shouldn't just sit here doing nothing at all. Surely there's something we can do. If we got a bonfire, or if we could signal the mainland, and if we... Oh, goodness. We need to get out of here. Oh, we can't do that in this weather. Oh.
But the weather will clear, and then we can do something. We can light a bonfire, a heliograph, a signal. It's just a matter of time.
A question, a matter of time. Time. We can't afford time. We should all be dead.
I think that the precautions we have now adopted will be adequate.
I tell you, we shall all be dead, all but one. They'll think of something. They're thinking now.
Poor Louise. What was her name? Please. Was it nerves that made you do her in, Doctor?
No. Drink. I used to be a heavy drinker. Oh, mercy, I was drunk when I operated. Quite a simple operation. My nerves, my hands, my shaking all over the place. I can remember her now. A big, heavy, countrified woman. And I killed her.
So I was right. That's how it was?
Well, people knew. My sister knew, of course. But she was loyal to me. Well, to the hospital. I gave up drink. I gave it up altogether. I went in for a study of nervous diseases.
You were very successful.
Yes, one or two lucky shots. Good results with one or two important patients. They talked to their friends. For the past year or so, I've been so busy I've hardly known when to turn. I'd gotten to the top of the tree.
Until Mr. Unknown Owen, and down will come Cradle, and Doctor and all.
Will you stop your sneering and joking?
Captain, please. We cannot afford to quarrel.
It's all right by me. I apologize.
Oh, it's this terrible inactivity that gets on my nerves.
We are adopting, I feel convinced, the only measures possible. As long as we remain together, all within sight of each other, a repetition of the tragedies that have occurred must be impossible. We've all submitted to a search, therefore we know that no one is armed with either firearms or a knife, nor has anyone got cyanide or any other drugs about their person. As long as we remain, as I say, within sight of each other, nothing can happen.
But we can't go on like this. We'll need food and sleep.
That's what I say.
Obviously, the murderer's only chance is to get one of us detached from the rest. So long as we prevent that, we are safe.
Safe.
very silent. Here?
There's nothing to say. It's this awful waiting. What is the time?
8:30.
Is it only that?
Where's the awful light this? How are the candles holding now?
There's still a whole package. Storm's dying down a bit. What do you think, sir?
Perhaps. We mustn't be too optimistic.
This murder has got everything on their side. Even the weather seems to be falling in with their plans.
Well, how about some food?
No, let's stay here. We're safe here. We're safe.
I'm not exactly ravenous myself. You can go out and have a guzzle by yourself, Paul.
Tell you what, suppose I go out and bring in a tin of biscuits.
Good idea. Oh, Blow.
What?
An unopened tin door. It's only the wind making the curtains rattle.
I wonder what became of that red curtain that Rogers was missing.
Now, the wildest stretch of imagination, I cannot see what any homicidal lunatic would want with the scarlet oil silk curtain.
Mrs. Brent was missing a skein of yarn as well. Things just seem to be going missing.
So the murderer, whoever he or she is a kleptomaniac too.
It's that awful rhyme. What's the next one? How does it go?
5 little soldier boys going in for law. One got in chancery.
Chancery? But how could that apply unless...
Exactly, my dear young lady. That is why I am sitting right here.
Ah, but I'm casting you for the role of murderer, not victim.
Term can apply to a boxer.
Then maybe we'll start a free fight. That seems to let you out, my dear.
That rhyme keeps going round and round in my head. I think I'll remember it until the day I die. Miss Bloor's a long time.
I expect that's a big bad wolf has got her.
Asked you once before to try to restrain your rather peculiar sense of humor, Captain Lombard.
Sorry, sir. Must be a form of nervousness. Miss Bloor.
Stop. Put your hands up. Armstrong, search her.
No, thank you.
Come now, you've had no dinner.
I really couldn't eat anything.
I warn you, Laura will scofflaw.
Don't see why there's any need to be so funny about it. Starving ourselves won't do any good.
How are we off for cigarettes?
I haven't got any.
I'd run out too.
I've a whole pack upstairs in my case. I can run and get it if you like.
This one's mine.
But see that you all stay where you are. Not bad, these biscuits.
What are they? Cheese?
Cheese and celery.
Accurate, I've had some.
Her nerves are in a bad state.
I cannot say that I agree with you there, Doctor. Miss Claythorne strikes me as a rather cool and resourceful young lady. Quite remarkably so.
So that's your idea. She's the guilty party, is it?
Hardly likely. She's a complete child.
Both you and I, Doctor, see age from slightly different angles. Who's there?
Philip! Philip, where are you?
Right here.
where you are. You don't know where anyone is.
It's that draught on the stairs. Blew all the candles out. Yeah, I got a light.
Where's Armstrong?
I'm hunting for the matches.
Never mind matches. Get some more candles.
Went right around my throat. I went into my room and the window was open. When I opened the door, it blew out the candle. And someone had put seaweed there. It felt like a wet hand strangling me.
Don't wonder that you yelled.
Who hung that there?
I don't know, but if I ever find out, they'll regret that they were ever born.
Who's there? Oh, tell me more.
Who fired that shot?
Don't know. See?
He's dead. Shot through the head.
You all sent me for cigarettes. You got me out of the way.
Sure.
So that you could kill that helpless old man in the dark. That's what you wanted the curtain for, the wall you planted all long ago. You're all crazy. You're all mad. Mercy, get me out of here!
Three little soldier boys sitting in a row, thinking as a guzzle, who's next to go?
Oh, Philip. That's all right, Miss Claythorne. I don't mind joking on a full stomach.
I must say I was hungry.
I've been wanting that meal. I feel like a new person.
We've been nearly 24 hours without any food, so it does lower the morale.
Somehow it all seems different in the light of day.
Well, you mustn't forget that there's a dangerous homicidal lunatic loose on the island.
Why is it that one doesn't feel so jittery about it anymore?
Because we know now, beyond a doubt, who it is. Abelor.
That's right.
It was the uncertainty before, looking at each other, wondering which.
I told you all along it was Armstrong.
You did, my sweet, you did. Of course, then you went completely bat and started suspecting us all.
It does seem rather silly in the daylight.
Very, very good.
Allowing it is Armstrong. What's happened to her?
Well, we know what she wants us to think has happened to her.
So what exactly did you find?
One shoe. Just one shoe, sitting prettily at the edge of the cliff. In fairness, Dr. Armstrong's gone completely off her onion and committed suicide.
Not very circumstantial. All the way down to a little China soldier broken over there by the doorway.
This all seems rather overdone to me. A person who was going to drown herself wouldn't think of doing that.
Quite so. But we're fairly certain that she didn't drown herself. But she had to make it appear as though she was the seventh victim, all according to plan.
So, what exactly happened last night? Well, after you threw a fit of hysterics and locked yourself in your room, we all decided that we should go to bed. So we all went to bed and bolted our doors.
About an hour after that, I heard someone walking past my door. I went out and I knocked on Blore's door. She was there all right. Thank you. That's when I went to Armstrong's room. It was empty. That's when I knocked on your door and told you to sit tight, whatever happened. Then I came down here. The window on the balcony was open, and my revolver was lying just beside it.
But why would Armstrong chuck that revolver away?
Beats me. Either there's an accident, or she's crazy.
How do you think she got a hold of your revolver?
I haven't the slightest idea.
So where is she now?
Looking somewhere, waiting to have a crack at one of us.
We should search the island.
And walk into an ambush.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Are you quite sure that you didn't hear anyone walking about after we went out?
Oh, I imagined all sorts of things, but nothing short of setting the house on fire was going to get me to unbolt my door.
I see, just fairly suspicious.
What's the use of talking? What are we going to do?
If you ask me, do nothing. Just sit here and avoid all of it.
See how I want to go after that loon.
How stubborn you are, Blore. By the way, between friends, and without prejudice, you did go for that spot of perjury, didn't you?
Guess it doesn't make any odds now. Landor was innocent, all right. The gang squared me, and between us, we put him away for a stretch. But mind you, I wouldn't say anything now
You
if
think
it
we're
wasn't.
all in the same boat?
I couldn't admit it if it wasn't Mr. Justice Wargrave, could I?
No, hardly.
It's not what I should have done, but they're a mean one, that Benny gang. I got my promotion.
And Landor got penal servitude and died in jail.
Well, I couldn't tell that he was going to die now, could I?
Huh? That was your bad luck.
His, you mean?
Yours too. Because as a result of that fact, your life might be cut short unpleasantly soon.
What, by Armstrong? Oh, watch it.
You'll have to. Remember, only 3 little soldier boys there.
Well, what about you?
I'll be quite all right, thank you. I've been in tight places before, and I've gotten out of them. And I mean to get out of this one too. Besides, I've got this again.
What's to say you haven't had it the whole time? You said you found it lying there.
Same old gramophone record. No more room in your head for one idea at a time, is there?
No, but it's a good one.
And you're sticking to it.
Yes, I am. Tell you what. Why don't you do the square thing and chuck that revolver down there?
Oh, don't be a bore.
And you know what I'm starting to think?
You're not starting to think it. You thought it last night, and now you come back to your original idea, that I'm the one and only you win unknown knowing. Is that it?
I won't contradict you.
Well, think what you very well please, but I warn you.
I think you're both acting like a pair of children.
Sorry, teacher.
Of course Lombard isn't the unknown Owen. Dr. Armstrong is, and I'll tell you one very good proof of it.
What's that?
Think of the rhyme. 4 little soldier boys went out to sea. A red herring swallowed 1, and then there were 3. Don't you see the subtlety of it? A red herring. That's Armstrong's pretended suicide. So really she isn't dead, she just wants us to think she is.
That's very ingenious.
To my mind, it's absolute proof. It's all mad because she's mad. She takes a queer, childish, crazy pleasure in sticking to the rhyme and making everything happen in that way. Dressing up the judge, killing Rogers while he was chopping sticks, and using a hypodermic needle on Miss Brent when he very well just could have drugged her. It's all got to happen in that way.
And that might give us a pointer. What's next? 3 little soldier boys walking in the zoo. A big bear hugged one, and then there were 2. A big bear hugged one. She'll have a job with that one. There's no zoo on the island. I say, how about a spot of whiskey?
Do stop thinking about your stomach, Blore.
But there's plenty of beer in the house.
Yes, and if anyone wanted to knock you out, first place they'd think of putting in a nice start is in a big bottle of beer.
What's that? A boat! A boat!
It just makes sense. trap. A wire set across the door, leading up and attached to something above.
Is she...
Yes. Crushed. Head stowed in that great marble bear statue from the landing.
Oh, bears, it's this ghastly childishness.
I know. What a fool Law was.
We shan't get out of here. Not before she gets us. She'll get us all.
I have... I've been in tight places before. I've gotten out of them. And I mean to get out of this one too.
Don't you feel there's someone here now, watching us?
No? That's just nerves.
So you do feel it?
No, I don't.
Can't we at least get out of here? Anywhere else? Perhaps if we go to the top, someone might see us.
All right. We'll go up to the top of the island and wait for relief to come. Straight drop down the other side. Be able to see if anyone's coming up from the top of the house.
Anywhere would be better than here.
I say, won't you be rather cold in that dress?
I'd be colder if I was dead.
Fair enough. A quick reconnaissance.
Oh, do be careful, Philip.
Not Law. There's no window directly above. Hello. What's that down there washed up against the rocks?
It looks like a body.
You better stay here. I'm going to have a look.
Armstrong's body.
Armstrong. Drowned. Washed up at the high water mark.
So now there are only two of us.
Yes, Vera. Now we know where we are.
Now we know where we are.
Very pretty trick of yours with the wires stretched across the door.
What
Quite
do you
neat.
mean?
Old Wargrave always knew that you were dangerous. So you did kill the kid, didn't you?
No, I didn't. Someone else.
Who?
A man. Peter's uncle. I was in love with him.
It's getting quite interesting.
Don't sneer. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. Peter was born after his father died. If he'd have been a girl, he would have gotten everything.
Well-known tale of the wicked uncle.
He said he loved me, that he was too poor to marry. There was a rock Peter was always wanting to swim out to. Of course, he was forbidden. It was far too dangerous.
Go on. This is
One
getting
day
interesting.
I went up to the house to get something I'd forgotten, and when I came back, I saw that he was already taken by the current. I tried to get to him, but Hugh stopped me. He said, no, I told the little brat he could do it. I tried to get away from him, of course, and I eventually did, but I was too late.
And everything went off well at the inquest. They called you a plucky girl, and you kept discreetly quiet about Hugh's end in the business.
Do you think anyone would have believed me? Besides, I loved him. I couldn't.
Very pretty story. And I suppose Hugh let you down?
Do you think I ever wanted to see him again?
Well, you are a very accomplished liar, Vera.
It's not a lie, it's the truth.
Who killed Law? I did. Armstrong's dead. I'm no saint, and I've broken most of the 10 Commandments in my life, but there's one thing I won't stand for, and that's murder.
You won't stand for murder. What about those natives?
That's what's so funny. I did it.
You didn't.
For once. Just once, mark you. I played the hero. Left my men my gun and ammunition and all the food on the island. Took a chance through the bush. By the most incredible luck it came off. But it wasn't in time to save them. And the rumor got around that I deliberately abandoned my men. That's life for you.
You think I'm going to believe that? After you admitted it to everyone.
I know. I got such a kick out of watching the faces.
You can't fool me any longer.
You're the fool.
I see it in your face now. The face of a killer.
You can't fool me any longer.
Now!
Come, little leasing monger.
If you come one step closer, I'll shoot.
You. Young. lovely, and quite mad.
It's all come true. My rhyme. Silence in the court! If there's any more noise, I will have to have the court cleared. It's all right, dear, it's all right. There's no reason to be afraid. This is a court of justice. You will get justice here. You thought I was a ghost. You thought I was dead. Armstrong said I was dead. That was the clever part of my plan. He said we'd trap the murderer, fix up my supposed death so that I should be free to spy upon the guilty one. Armstrong thought it was an excellent plan. She came out to meet me that night by the cliff without any suspicion at all. I sent her over with a bush. So easily. She swallowed my red herring. All right. You know, Vera Claythorne, my whole life I've wanted to take life. Yeah. I've had to get what enjoyment I could out of sentencing the guilty to death. I always enjoyed that. It's just not enough. I needed more. I needed to do it with my own hands. But I am a judge of the High Court. As such, I have a sense of justice. As between our sovereign Lord the King and the prisoner at the bar shall true deliverance. Yes, my lord, guilty. You were all guilty, but the law could not touch you. So I had to take the law into my own hands. My own hands. Silence in the court. Anthony Marston first. Mrs. Rogers. Barbatone in the brandy. And Mackenzie. Down. And I got Rogers while he was chopping sticks. And I doped Miss Emily Brent's coffee so that she wouldn't feel the hypodermic syringe. And finally, set up a booby trap for Blore. Blore was always my fool. I always knew out of all of you, Blore was going to be the easiest one to get. Turning the revolver was a clever touch. It made the end interesting. I always knew you two would suspect each other in the end. The question was, who would win out? I banked on you, my dear. Female of the species, besides, it's always more dramatic for it to be a lady in the end. Prisoner at the bar, do you have any reason why sentence should not be passed on to you?
I'm not guilty! I'm not guilty!
Everyone says that. You have to plead not guilty, unless you are going all out for a verdict of insanity. But you are not mad, my dear. I am, but you are not.
Please, I'm innocent! I never killed that child. I never wanted to kill that child. You're a judge. You know when a person is lying or telling the truth. You know I'm innocent.
So you didn't drown the boat?
No, I didn't.
This ruins everything. matter at this point, does it?
What?
I cannot ruin my lovely rhyme. My 10 little soldier boys, you are the last one.
What? But...
One little soldier boy left all alone. He went and hanged himself. I must have my hanging.
It's all right. It's all right.
I thought I killed you.
Thank goodness women can't shoot straight. At least not straight enough.
I shall never forget this.
Oh, yes, you will. There's another ending to that 10 little soldier boys rhyme. One little soldier boy, left all alone. We got married, and then the wind.
Oh, wait, we must get something on. Yes, this way. Here, let me help you. What's all right, Miss Lord? We're close. Oh, we're so close.
Thank you guys so much for coming. I am so proud of my kids, I could cry. I should clarify, I'm the director, Emily DeLeon. We have the kids in the fellowship hall. They are setting up refreshments, so if you would like to go and congratulate them and how fantastic they did, please go and do so. We'll be here for a little bit to chat and gab and make merry, so let's go.